I'm back from Dubai. I'm settled in. I am rested. I will do an entire video dedicated to should I skip my jab. So please subscribe if you want a dedicated video to that topic. This video is going to be slightly different. It's going to be a weekly update, but I'm going to do my pictures from Dubai because people have requested to see what I've done, what I'm eating, that kind of thing. So hopefully it gives a little bit of context, and I will hide in one of these corners whilst doing so. So around about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, I went to Birmingham. I took my final 5 milligram jab on that Sunday. I went to Birmingham on the Wednesday, and I flew out to Dubai on the Sunday. So that week in Birmingham, I was governed by my last jab of 5 milligrams, and it was perfectly fine, perfectly normal. I was able to experience my food. I was able to socialize and meet people. Flying out to Dubai, you did your normal things. You get up in the morning, you get on a giant metal bird with rockets strapped to them and fire yourself across the sky at 500, 600 miles an hour. I didn't take any pictures of the plane food, but the plane food was good. It was with Emirates. And when I landed in Dubai 7.5 hours later, and I fought through the queues of Uberness, I was able to finally get to my hotel room and go to sleep. As mentioned in my last week video that I posted a couple of days ago, I went straight into the office. I met a load of people, introduced myself and my weird personality to the entire team. Everyone at the Coin Bureau office are incredibly friendly. And if you know who Coin Bureau are, then that wouldn't surprise you in the slightest. In the evening, I had a stunning steak dinner, which I absolutely loved. Chicken wings and carrot cake. You've got to remember at this point, I'd not taken my Sunday jab, because normally I'd take my jab. But it hadn't really dawned on me, like, because of the weather, I'm constantly drinking water. I weren't overly hungry. I had breakfast in the morning, which was like egg Benedict. That was Tuesday morning, which was kind of start of day 2. I didn't eat anything all day because I didn't feel hungry. Then we went to a networking event called Tomorrow's Token. I may have got these days mixed up a little bit because it was so hectic that a lot got done in a short period of time, but still, bear with me. And Tomorrow's Token was a load of nibbly food, you know, like mini buffet food that you get at a conference. Once again, didn't feel overly in the need of nibbling stuff. And when I got back, I had the chicken pot pie, the vegetables, and the beef tartare in the hotel. All whilst, you know, enjoying the scenery and stuff like that. It's absolutely beautiful. I know I've definitely mucked up this timeline, but I didn't note it down, so I'll continue. I continued to do a lot of sightseeing that week, including going up the Burj Khalifa, which I'm so glad I did, because for a period of time, being out in public has always been a kind of anxiety thing for me, because I'm that big dude, that sweaty dude, and everyone that looks at me is like, oh, you know, I bet he's hurting, or I bet he's eating, or... So when I went to the Burj Khalifa, it was a fantastic experience. I'll be honest, I was nagging myself and doubting myself at all times, like, well, I could just go and take pictures, or I could just go and go up but not have the meal because I booked a ticket that included a meal, or I could go up, take pictures, come down and then have the meal. But I'll be honest, and you'll notice the tone shift here from factual to retrospective. Dubai was amazing for me, for my mental health, for my mental clarity, for my future planning, for my business, for my understanding of the world. The Burj Khalifa put in perspective that the world is big and I am tiny, but just because I'm tiny doesn't mean that I have to be a doormat either. And if I hadn't put myself in those situations, I wouldn't have experienced those situations. On the same day was SUI Base Camp, which was a networking event where everything's based on the SUI ecosystem, which is if you're not into crypto, then imagine it like a gaming conference where SUI is a game console and everything else is apps that you could play on that games console. It's probably the closest kind of example that I can give if you don't understand that space. So everything at that event was all to do with SUI, so that games console, but it could be about finance, or it could be about mobile networking, or it could be about families, or... So I took a load of pictures. I did a lot of networking. This time last year, I wouldn't have done that. I would have kept myself pretty much to myself. I didn't have the confidence, but having lost the nearly 2 stone, the 27 pounds or the 14 kilos ish in the last couple of months, kind of helped my self-confidence. I felt a bit more me, a bit more comfortable. I dyed my hair back to what it was, so I felt a little bit more youthful, a bit more friendly. And it was really good for me, mental health-wise. And I think that's honestly what I needed. So when we went to the final event on the Thursday evening, because I was flying out on Friday, it was the big, grand Atlantis hotel kind of thing on the Jumeirah Palm, which, if you know anything about Dubai, it's those big trees that they build out of sand in the fucking middle of the lake. Dubai is crazy. Dubai is if you had all of the money in the world and was to build a massive business hub that's commercial but doesn't suffocate you. If you go to Times Square, it was an old place that became very commercial. If you go to like the UK and you go to London, once again, lots of old architecture that is beautiful, but they had to make it more and more commercial. In Dubai, they've got the money to build anything they want, as large as they want, to make it as brand new as they wish. And that's why they build islands and massive hotels with waterfalls. So, to the thing that I'm sure that you're all wanting to know. I went to Birmingham, I went to Dubai. I effectively went on holiday and ate whatever I wanted. The jab certainly stuck around. There was still the appetite suppressant. I wasn't snacking. There wasn't constantly food noise. I'm not nagging. I'm not hungry. I'm drinking a lot of water. I'm walking a hell of a lot more. I averaged, without realizing, like 3 to 5 kilometers a day walking in Dubai. My back weren't hurting. Like this time last year, if I was walking around that much, my back would have been screaming. I would have been sitting down all the time. I think I was on my feet non-stop for 3 days in a row. A little bit of niggle of a back pain, but that's to be expected for the amount of activity. I was eating healthy. Yeah, I just felt generally better. So when I hopped on the scales today, after effectively a week and a half of not having a jab and being on holiday, I have put on 2 pounds. And I'm not going to kick myself for that. Because let's be honest, that's the equivalent of drinking a load of water and taking a massive shit tomorrow morning. And I don't feel any heavier. I don't look any heavier. This is now one of my older 3XL t-shirts and I'm comfortable in them. I went out to Dubai in slightly slimmer clothes and I felt comfortable in them. I didn't feel pinched in them. I didn't feel like a sweaty walrus all the time I was out there. It really was good. I really did feel good. And I'm pleased and proud of myself that I could put myself in that environment and not go crazy. I also didn't starve myself either. I experienced a lot of things out there. I would love to go back to Dubai. It is beautiful. And for anyone that's going on holiday, as I said, the appetite suppressant and the food noise was still gone. Ironically, I snacked most when I came back here to the UK because I was back in my own bubble. It was very easy to get hold of crisps because I was back in my old naughty routine. But yeah, over the course of 2 weeks, 2 weeks of being off the jab and eating absolutely anything I wanted, I've put on 2 pounds. So what, 1 kilo? Is that from me walking more and possibly gaining muscle? Is that me being more hydrated in the last 2 weeks? Is it that I just need a massive poo? I don't know, but I thought I would share this with you, my honest experience, and I love you all dearly. Thank you very much for your support, especially when posting my videos while I was away. Hopefully this helps. As I said, please subscribe and I will dive into my opinion on skipping a dose, on how I skipped a dose, on the after effects, any side effects of that kind of thing, and we can go from there. My name is Alan. I'm losing it. Are you?